there, welcome back to another What the Hell Is This? And this is If. Not the Malcolm McDowell If, or Lyndon Johnson's If. This is the Imaginary Friends movie from last year. John Krasinski wrote and directed it, and he had a supporting part in it. Stars Ryan Reynolds and a little girl. And it's one of those ones that's like, this is the first draft. It's too long in lots of ways. It doesn't go into details in other ways. And it just feels like a first draft. And it's way too long. And it's meant to be a fable, but fables need direction. They need to have a central feeling of what they're about. And instead you have like obvious twists and like it's always you just feel it's setting up for the big twist at the end from the start. And you just feel it being very twee, and it's like it has not worked out his world. It's not worked out the roads of the world and explained to you. And then it just goes, it's something that goes on forever about, and there's other things that just doesn't cover at all. And it just has this feeling of something that really hasn't been worked out more than anything. It's like one of those things is like something, because Krasinski had just had two massive hits with the Quiet Place 1 and 2, it's obviously we'll let you do whatever you want. And you want to do a fable for kids, which is good. There's not enough of those. I like those if they're done well. But this one was just like, it did feel like when you put everything down and it's like, and then they went into production rather than saying, okay, put in your drawer for a year, then go back and look at it and take it what's good and what's bad and figure it out. Because the story is about this girl whose mother has died, and her dad's going in for an operation for her heart thing, and she's starting to see imaginary friends all around because she's on the cusp of adulthood, and she's trying to figure out how to deal with her emotions. So she starts seeing her imaginary friends, and she starts to try and figure it out and then try to help them. So what they're trying to do is place these imaginary friends with new children, because imaginary friends are all kind of now just in this like, home for imaginary friends who are, and they have no purpose in life, and they're just trying to have an excuse for jokes. Basically, it's not like really thought out, because you've got lots of stuff that's like you find out later that you can't put one imaginary friend with something that didn't originate it. So the person who originated it is the only person who can see it, and once that link is gone, it's gone. So they spend a lot of time doing this thing about trying to match these imaginary friends up with new people, which doesn't work. And you can just tell, like, just in your own head, it's like, that's not going to work. And they spend 20 minutes on it. Doesn't work. They have other things like then decide to have to let the people see their old imaginary friends, which kind of works eventually, but it takes a lot of effort, which leads to the revelation that Ryan Reynolds playing this character is trying to put the imaginary friend with new children. And it turns out he was the imaginary friend of our lead character in the first place, which explains his backstory, because his backstory is very mysterious and blah blah blah, and it's kind of, you'll figure it out when you're ready type of thing. So that's just telling you that yep, he's her imaginary friend. And they've always these flashbacks where there's someone missing from the image. It's obviously him. It's like, oh god, it's that thing. It's like first draft. It feels like first draft. It's like it's something you read and go, if you give yourself space when you go, I can see this coming a mile away, and it's all these things I'm doing are dodging from actually looking at what the idea is and making it actually magical. Could you get little moments where it's like, okay, there's a bit where a grandmother who's a dancer is dancing, she can feel the presence of her imaginary friend. That's nice. That's the stuff you should have focused on. Or the whole idea of a girl who's kind of good teenage years, who's dealing with the fact her mother's died and her father's in for operation. That's really good. You don't have to go much further than that. But instead, this film has a lot of saccharine stuff, and John Krasinski's playing the father. He's trying to keep her happy, but it just feels a shtick. It does not feel like a real relationship. It just feels a shtick and silliness, and it's just like, calm down. Because Krasinski's character does not feel like a character. It feels like a sitcom character. Like he's like, it's almost like, no wonder your daughter's messed up. You're not actually talking to her properly, and that just becomes annoying, and it's not written very well, and it's just done for weak jokes, and it's just like, this thing is like, did no one come in and say, look, this thing needs more work? There's just, and the whole thing about the imaginary friends in their world, and they live under the Coney Island, like big spinning wheels and stuff, and so they live below a place where everyone's happy in this other world, and she can change the world underneath them from being a depressing place to being a happy place just by her personality. There's lots of stuff that could have been developed if you did not have this supposed twist ending, which is like, oh, this was my imaginary friend, and for some reason I see him but I can't remember, even though she's only 12, so she should be able to remember what her imaginary friend was. That doesn't make sense. And if you get rid of some of the comedy and trying to silliness and just stuck to the idea of a girl is in grief for her mother and is scared of her father dying, pare it down, like take half an hour out and have the imaginary friend be real with her the whole time, and see these other abandoned imaginary friends, and just using that idea of bring them back to their original people, to the people who originally created them, and do it slowly over time. The film would be simpler, but actually would have had some resonance if you just cut out some of the silliness. It's just always trying for twists that are just not there. Could you spot them a mile away? And again, it's trying too hard to be funny and trying too hard to be, I don't know what, just trying to be charming, and it's not charming, it's just overbearing. It's the way someone tried to tell you jokes and you're thinking, just go away, you're trying too hard, just go away. The whole film's like that. It's just like, it's trying too hard, and it avoids the thing that it's meant to be about by having stuff, lots of stuff. And it's creating all this lore that, as if this does well, you can do a bunch of these films. But the lore doesn't really hang together. The lore should really be, this is her coping mechanism during a difficult time. She's not as grown up as she thinks. That's all it ever needs to be. And at the end, the Fs could disappear, you know, as she gets through the trauma, and it would be more melancholy, but it would work a lot better. Instead, it's just does stuff, and it gets more and more annoying as you're watching. It's like, stick to what's really annoying is that The Quiet Place 1 and 2 were both good films, and The Quiet Place Day 1, which she produced, was also excellent. And it's like, how did you miss the simplicity of these other films and just do a blah? So that's what it is, it's just a blah film, and it's like, it's one of those 60s films that are trying too hard to make a children's film, and it's like, blah, of everything. It's like, but there's no like logic, because children like simple things. So this film didn't do very well compared to its budget. It didn't do terribly, but it was a disappointment. Critically, it was a disappointment. Commercial disappointment. And I think it was just because it just tried too hard through stuff at the screen, and people were like, "You missed what you're aiming for. You've completely missed what you're aiming for." So, and I don't know anyone who really likes this one. It just feels like one of those films that just missed. Now I'm sure some kids who see it will like it because there's lots of cute animals and things, lots of cute like animal-like creatures, but it's like it just is a mess. It's one of those films that's just a mess. It's just like, it just threw stuff and relied on the charm of the special effects to hope for the best. But yeah, so what the hell is this one? It can remind me of Dr. Dolittle in lots of ways, where it was like, there's lots of talented people here, but what the hell are they thinking? Didn't anyone step back and say, you haven't figured this out yet, just don't start filming until you actually figure out what you're doing? It's just one of those things that's just like, they filmed before they were ready. Like, because it's annoying thing is, there is a good idea here. It just needed to be in a drawer for a year and then to look at and go, oh, I went completely wrong there, and just adjust things. That's what it needed because I was interested in seeing it because the idea seemed like there was potential. And you watch the film and it's, yes, the idea had potential, it just wasn't done well. But those things happen. I mean, it's one of those ones that's like, well, hopefully we'll learn from this one and be more coherent in the future. It's just one of those films where someone's told you can do whatever you want. And sometimes those films work and sometimes they do not. And this one did not. There we go. Hope you enjoyed the video. That's me for now. Bye.